sure.
I have some of my original Mission Impossible stubs from
Are you
back in
serious?
the day.
Get
dude.
out, man.
Yeah, man.
For real? Dude, that's cool. Which one? Where were you?
I was in Kiln Creek, Virginia, Newport News, Virginia.
Dude, come on, man.
Yeah, man.
That's really cool.
Dude, it's honor. I have to ask you, I've been waiting months to ask you this question.
Let's go.
I'm a big nerd about filmmaking. I get so geeked out that I get nerd tears in my eyes. Yeah, so I want to ask you, how did you shoot that plane scene? Can you walk me through it? How did they strap you in? What did that look like? It was awesome.
I'll walk you through it. You know what? It was something when we decided to do it. We were trying to figure out. We had to meet with Airbus. Fortunately, they said we could do it, and then we had to go through and get engineering. The engineering plans and agreements just to put the camera on the side of the airplane, because also if the G-forces, if something happened to the aircraft, it had to be able to sustain certain G-forces if it came off so that the camera wouldn't kill me. And also opening a particular window that we needed where I was in the door, there was a particular window where I would get hand signals to come through if there was a bird, because we were very concerned when I was going through about particles and bird strikes at that speed, it would have killed me. So they did everything they could to try to clean the runway as best they could, and then we just had to watch the birds. And also the temperature was very cold. So there's factors. There's also keeping my eyes open, because you see my eyes open.
You had contacts in, right?
Yeah, very thick contacts, but it was also blurred my vision. And also we had the exhaust fumes from the engines coming off of that. And so those are part of the elements. It was so cold in the speed we were traveling, it actually kind of froze me to the bone. When I came off, people had to kind of hold me because the circulation, my legs weren't quite there. And then it was just the fact of doing it. When we started doing it, I kept saying to the pilot, I said, listen, you've got to, I want my feet on the edge, I want my feet dangling on the side of the fuselage. I was like, when you're taking off, the angle of attack, and we set the camera angle to see the particular, the ground going away for the audience. And so I kept saying, I was talking to the guy who developed it. He says, no, don't worry, I will throw your legs against the fuselage. Well, then we started going down the runway, and it was so fast that I was having a hard time, not having my legs against the fuselage while we're going down the runway. I was like, oh, geez, I can't keep my feet on the floor as we're going down. And, there was a moment, it's like when you're going down, I was like, oh, shit, this is it. Maybe this wasn't such a
That's awesome.
And then I was like, well, we're committed now. I got to do it.
Yeah.
But I ended up doing it 8 times, and we got the shot. It was really, it was a credit to everyone that helped to make that happen.
Thank you for practical effects. I'm going to give you a hug because you're awesome at life. You're a good dude,
Love
man.
that you got
Love you
those
too.
tickets.
Yeah, man.
That's cool.
Good to meet you. So there's 2 scenes I want to specifically ask you about. There's a great shot where the BMW's spinning and we see your face in the window, and then also the backward shot when you guys land.
Yeah.
How do they pull those off? Because we do see a shot where you land and the airbag deploys.
Yes.
Where are you filming that? Are you actually in the air? How are they doing that?
I can show you how we did that on my phone after the interview, if you like, because we can't do it on the camera.
Yeah.
But yeah. I will. There was a device. Okay, so the main body of the car chase took place in Morocco, all for real. Tom did 99% of the driving. The only bits that he didn't do is when we were reversing really fast and we had to have a guy on top of the car driving it on a special rig.
Oh, cool.
Because obviously acting and reversing is tough, obviously. And I was in the car as well, they didn't want to hurt me. But the moment when you see us in the car flipping, we were on a rig in Leavesden. The car was on like a forklift truck which revolved, and the car just span like this, and they filled it with like fake glass so that that it would lift like anti-gravity, like zero gravity. And then they cut that into the movie. The airbags, I think, was CG. In fact, I know they were because I never felt them deploy.
Wow.
But
you guys are jolting as you hit.
Yeah.
Is that just acting, or are they moving you in
Well, no, we were being
They
spun
are
like this.
moving
It was
you.
like an insane fairground ride.
Wow.
It was great. And they made it, Chris had to go for 1 minute rather than 30 seconds. So by the end of it, there's some footage of me and Tom just flipping the bird at the camera and going like this, and all the glass going like this, and we're just looking at the camera. Really? You're going to do this to us?
That's awesome. One thing I mentioned to Chris was I think your character has such a great emotional arc, because in the beginning, there's that great scene where you're yelling at Tom about how you want to be involved in the mission. I won't give away the one scene I referred to you earlier, but where's that balance of you're in a movie that's strictly a lot of action, but you also want to have characters you care about.
Absolutely.
So do you have that element of okay, I need people to feel for me, I need people to feel for Benji?
100%, yeah, and you hit the nail right on the head. It's like, none of those action set pieces would have any value if you weren't concerned for the people involved, you know?
Agreed.
You can see characters that you don't care about doing the most incredible stuff, and it leaves you flat and kind of slightly underwhelmed. Whereas if you have genuine concern for the characters and you like them and you want them to live, suddenly there's jeopardy there, you know. So establishing that character base, establishing those relationships is so important to the bigger picture.
I can't sit here and not bring up that Comic-Con footage of Star Wars. I'm sorry. What are you in that film? Can you say anything?
I can't tell you that.
Well, you are in the footage.
I am, yes.
Are you physically on screen, or are you going to be underneath the costume? Can you tell me that?
50, that day, we were in Abu Dhabi, and it was 50 degrees. Like, even hotter than it is here in Vienna right now.
Yeah.
And I had a flannel over my head to cool me down, because an iced flannel, because I was literally... I mean, my heart rate was going up. No, and I kept thinking that is my heart rate going a little too fast? And all I kept saying in my head was, "It's okay. It's Star Wars. It's okay. It's Star Wars."
I was crying during the trailer. I was crying during the footage. I mean,
that footage was actually put. I didn't know until the day before. JJ told me they were going to show it. It was put together as a little kind of by Stefan, who's an amazing editor, by the way. Huge props to Stefan for this. He put it together as a thing for the cast and crew, as a kind of little, you know, look what we've done moment. And it's so beautiful that JJ decided to show it. And it's such a nice way of giving the audience a little something.
Yeah.
You know, I would say don't watch another trailer. You know, wait, it's 4 months away and it's all going to become apparent. And I know people are desperate for information and desperate to see stuff, but you'll see it very, very soon.
Can't wait.
4 months is a lot less than 33 years, which is what we've been waiting
I agree. One nerdy question before I go.
Yes.
There's a great... one thing I've always been fascinated by is the masks in the Mission Impossible films.
Yeah.
And there's scenes in the film where characters are wearing masks, but one specific moment where you guys are talking about what you're going to do and you put on the mask.
Yeah.
When we see an actor in a scene who's wearing the mask, is it really the actor wearing the mask, or is it the person that we're seeing on camera always?
It is the person who is, hang on, now I've got to think about
Sorry.
this. It's never the guy that Sean, who plays me infiltrating that place at that point, that was all him, and it's not until that actor goes like this that they cut in the person who's wearing the mask.
Oh.
So, like, I had a mask of Sean, which McQuarrie tweeted a picture of during the shoot, actually. And so there is a mask that you physically take off, but through the genius of VFX, they blend the two. So we did do a scene. I don't know if it's in the movie yet, because I haven't seen the film, by the way.
Oh, I've seen a movie before you have.
I know. I'm going to see it tonight in Vienna. I had to go away and do Star Trek Beyond before I had a chance to see it. So I'm excited. But if this is in it, we did a whole scene where we had a fake mirror, and we had doubles of each other so that you could see him, Sean, and then you saw me take the mask off.
That's the shot I'm talking about.
Yeah. That was done as...
it's one shot.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking how they did that shot.
That was 2 rooms exactly the same with a fake mirror and a fake Tom and a fake Rebecca and a fake me. And it was so well done, all in camera. And we did it like 20 times until McHugh was like, we got it.
That's what I was asking. I'm wondering how they were able to get a single shot of you taking the mask off if it wasn't really...
2 rooms. It's good, and that's proper movie making.
Dude, that is... I'm like
that's nerd tears right there.
I'm totally getting nerd tears. I have my usual suspects ticket stub.
Oh my God. That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best written movies ever, so
thank
wanted
you
to show
so
that to you.
much. That's amazing.
Well, first of all, I'm a big fan of practical effects. I always have been. I'm not a huge CGI guy. I love that you use so much practical effects in the film. But obviously, the plane scene, everyone's talking about that moment. Can you tell me how you actually filmed that, where the cameras were on the plane, what was he latched onto? How did you shoot the moment?
How technical do you want to get?
Please, that's all me, man. I will sit here all day with you and talk technical.
So the way the A400 is constructed, there are these small portal windows along the side. We removed 2 of the windows, and we built a massive rig inside the plane that was attached to 2 beams sticking out the windows. And there was a track that connected those 2 beams, and that's what the camera was mounted to. So the camera is mounted inside this large housing, which allowed us to, we could tilt and pan just a little bit. Tom's attached to the side of the plane with a harness, and we just removed the harness from the image. But he's up there in a suit with nothing else on.
And the contacts, right?
He had contact lenses that covered half the eye. He had earplugs in, so he couldn't really see. He couldn't really hear. It was very difficult to direct him. He had to sort of broad pantomime before we took off. And our concern was not, him falling off the plane. Or we had three concerns. One was debris on the runway.
Yep.
Any rock, any stone, any pebble was going to be a bullet if it came through the props. The other one was the speed with which we had to take off. And if you went too fast, nothing was going to hold Tom onto the plane. He'd just be torn off. And then the really big concern, bigger than anything else, the variable we couldn't control was birds. And if Tom was hit by a bird at that speed, that was it.
Now, I'm a big fan of film scores and the way a director uses the score. And I thought it fascinating in one of the most incredible scenes in the film, which was the BMW car chase with the motorcycles. You have no score playing.
None.
And I thought it was cool because it was like all car sounds, motorcycle sounds.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how, as a director, you choose, I don't want a score here, I just want natural sound?
Well, Joe Kramer and I, we're big believers in simplicity and minimalism. And our whole approach to things is only using music when it's absolutely necessary. And in this movie, we decided we were going to have very little. And when I cut a movie, I don't use temp score. I cut everything without music until the movie works without any music whatsoever. Once we started putting music in, the movie just started demanding more and more music. You put music in one scene, you needed it in the previous scene, you needed it in the next scene.
Right.
And pretty soon, Joe and I were in the unusual position of saying, well, where can we take music out? And I was determined to hold on to the car chase and the Taurus because I really wanted those to be as immersive as possible. And when you're underwater and you're listening to an orchestral score, it suddenly took you out of the scene.
Yeah.
You didn't feel like you were underwater. You suddenly felt like you were with an orchestra watching the scene. So anytime when I really wanted to put you inside the moment, I would just take the music away.
How long did he hold his breath? I'm just curious.
He held his breath in training for about 6.5 minutes.
But in the scene when you shot it?
In the scene itself, I think the longest take we did was probably, for starting and everything else, getting ready for the shot. He held his breath for like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, while physically exerting himself. It was a real challenge.
When he's in that shot in the trailer, without spoiling anything, where he's leaning over and his knee is about to hit the ground, is there any kind of safety element, like in the sense of, do you have something that is there anything around like a padding? How do you do that moment without actually putting his life in danger?
You just have him lean over and scrape his knee on the ground.
Like, that's actually him. That's really him.
That's actually him doing it. He's going very, very fast. Yes. There are safety measures in place, but nothing is going to stop him if he stuck his leg out too far. That was it. And you see his leg hits the ground.
It's unbelievable.
And we went and got that shot several times. He wanted the audience to know that could happen. And anybody who rides motorcycles and watches that, it's excruciating.
I was just in the Vienna State Opera House a little while ago, and I think one of the most epic shots of the film is your walk up the stairs. That's such a great scene. When you're filming in an iconic place like that, is there like an element? I know you're in character, but is there an element in your brain where you're just like, this is freaking awesome, and this is gonna look really, really cool?
Oh yes, and also. It's a very good introduction scene. It's a beautiful. Tom was very sort of aware of giving me very good introduction scenes in sequences. He lifts people.
Yeah.
I remember just walking up these stairs thinking, this is not happening. I'm in a mission movie, and this is sort of second day of shooting. First day of shooting was rappelling down.
Yeah.
But I remember having a song in my head.
What song?
Do you know? I haven't done this with anyone yet, I think.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Do you know Roger Rabbit?
Really?
Do you know the one that Jessica Rabbit sings when she walks out of the curtain? I won't sing it for you, but...
Oh, you need to give me a little. You need to give me a little of the song.
Yes. So basically, I had that in my head whilst walking up thinking, I can kill you, I can kill you, I can kill you, but I won't. Just to try and get into the motion, because basically my head was going, this is freaking awesome.
That's cool.
Just to try and make it a bit more subtle.
Yeah, we did a great job with it. And I had them when you crawled up that dude and like snapped his neck.
Yeah.
How did that shot work? Was there any wire work? How did they pull that off?
No, there's no wire.
Really?
Yeah, that's a one move take. So basically from the moment when he pushes me forward and I turn around, it's an on take, up, down, leap, and then off.
I mean, it's a wild shot.
It is, once you get it, there were many takes to be able to get up. And then also once you're up and you have to whip him down, it's the cool landing and not falling.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's training. It is training and doing it on a stunt guy who is prepared and helps out. But it's spectacular
Oh, it
feeling
looks-
doing it. I try to bring it in. I call it the killer thigh move.
Oh, it's called the what?
The killer thigh move. I call it that.
That's awesome.
I know, thank you.
They need to have a credit for that in the credits. The killer thigh move done by.
Done by Wade Eastwood, a stunt coordinator.
Now, I think one thing your character really balances well in this movie is that she is a badass, as I mentioned, but there's also a great emotional quality to her.
Yes.
And there's moments where you want her to be more emotional, and then all of a sudden she brings it back. That's her character, and it works perfectly for the audience because we get sucked in, and then she just starts beating everyone up, and it's awesome. So I'm wondering for you, finding that balance of not going so badass that you lose the emotional element, but then the other way around.
I love that you've said that because basically that is the communication that we've had with Tom and me and Chris is how do you create that balance? And I would not be able to do it myself because it's easy to give too much and you'd have Tom go, pull it back a bit, or Chris would go, pull it back, or give a little bit more. And then we just sort of flip it and do it 180 degrees, completely different. So we had variations of it. But I think that's what I love about this character, and actually what I love about Mission. It is not only the explosive, dynamic, incredible stunts. I mean, the guy is on a plane, but these are characters with soul, with vulnerability. There's something that I, as a viewer, when I see these movies, I'm sort of there with them at the table when they're figuring these things out. When they get annoyed and when they get angry and emotional, I feel it with them. And that is spectacular balance. That is very hard. It's very hard. And I give that to Robert Ellswood, the DOP, the way he shoots it. Chris, Tom, everyone. It's